being out in the community is not always asking for money, but letting them know that the service is here.
Alors on se disait, bon, ça serait merveilleux de se mettre ensemble, en coopération, et d'aider justement une maison comme ça contre la violence.
Really, I guess that's what any service club is for, is to be there when there's a need.
Il est important que le public sache que si on va chercher de l'argent dans la communauté, c'est important qu'il sache qu'elle retourne dans la communauté.
I think our focus is community, community and local happenings, local events. So
it's kind of like that song, I sure could use a little good news today. So I think maybe we're just trying to give people a little bit of good news.
I agree. I think everyone has it in them. It's just whether they take the initiative or not.
We're always waiting for big things, and instead of saying, what can I do?
For so long I lived in sorrow, and I felt the weight of a world on my back. With no higher hope, someone might follow me down just to pick me up.
Family violence touches every level of our society, and the struggle for awareness, education, and finally action has been a long one. A pioneer in a movement creating both awareness and change has been Sister Cecile Renaud.
How do you go about to make campaigns of awareness? How do you go about education for the children in the school so that there won't be any more violence or less violence? So everything has to be created, I would say, from scratch.
Sister Renaud believes being open to change can allow you to take that risk to reach out and make a difference.
Alors, il faut vraiment être ouverte à écouter les autres. On apprend souvent en écoutant les autres. Et puis, cette nouvelle information peut nous aider à modifier notre façon de voir, modifier nos opinions. Ça ne veut pas dire qu'on laisse nos valeurs de côté, mais on voit plus grand qu'on voyait si on regarde la question seule. Alors, c'est bon d'écouter les autres, puis aussi d'essayer de se faire écouter.
This video is about people who take time and energy to make a difference, people with experience who show why it is vital we reach in to reach out.
I think if you want to reach out, you have to reach in first. You have to go into your heart and say, what are your values? What do you want to achieve? What do you want to do? And according to your spiritual values, it doesn't matter which religion you're in, there's always this sense that we are all brothers and sisters. Therefore, you want to help those who need the most help. So, I mean, the motivation comes from the heart, but you go out and you try to do to others what you would want others do unto you.
The solid foundation of any community effort is its volunteer system.
My own feeling is that I take my living from this community and I should put something back into it. And by doing volunteer work, such as through this organization, I feel I'm putting something back into the community, and I would urge people to get out and do the same thing.
Je pense que au lieu de pourquoi que je le fais, c'est qu'est-ce que je fais. Je pense que c'est ça qui est la question qui est importante, c'est quoi les résultats de mes efforts.
Well, how can volunteers make a difference in our society? If you take them all off for one day, I think the country wouldn't function anymore.
Sussex is such a small community, and there's a lot of service organizations that do ask, and I do not like to wear out our welcome.
Executive Director of the Sussex Vale Transition House, Pauline Carrier, relies in part on an in-kind donation effort in which the Sussex Lioness and Lions clubs play an important role.
We were fortunate in that one of our members belonged to a local rental company, and he provided the equipment, and through volunteers and a little bit of equipment and so on, we were able to go in and clean up the yard, the grounds around the building, so that there was safety there, or they could feel a bit of safety.
For instance, when the Transition House approached us to ask for little things like toothbrush, face cloths, and those types of things, we started answering roll call with those kinds of items, which really wasn't a big deal, but it certainly accumulated quickly for the house.
Meeting people and being a volunteer herself makes it happen.
The value of networking is very, very important, not only to myself, but to the Transition House, because without the connections that I make while going to these different meetings, we wouldn't have the volunteer people coming into the house and the donations that we do have.
When fundraising, Pauline's attention turns to details.
When we are trying to organize an event, would be the location. Is there a cost for location? Do we have to heat it? Do we have to get guards to watch it if it's an open space? We have to look at the volunteerism. Do we need a tent?
To minimize costs, Pauline has discovered that tagging along on a larger event can eliminate many of the details. The Transition House pays a $25 registration fee and runs a booth at the annual antique auto flea market selling lobster rolls.
The advantage is that there's thousands and thousands of people coming to this event, so we can pick out certain people. We were passing out coupons and we were saying, you want a lobster roll.
While the small fundraiser is a good source of short-term income and a valuable public relations tool, other needs require other strategies. It is possible to create a medium-sized campaign with far-reaching effects, starting with nothing more than a simple idea, a realistic goal, and a knowledge of the resources and talents you already have.
My idea was that I didn't have to motivate anybody else. This was something I could do on my own. I could just grab my guitar and walk the distance.
That seemingly simple idea has grown into the stride and strum. This event combines the goals of raising money and promoting awareness of sexual assault in a take-it-to-the-people style campaign. Over a 5-day period in August, Steve Cole and Claude Casey walked from St. John to Fredericton while playing guitars. With Joanna Porter in a support vehicle carrying everything from food to promotional literature, they raised the profile of the issue in many outlying communities along the way. The uniqueness of this campaign attracts the media, and the target audience is expanded even further.
You just don't see it every day. It doesn't happen all the time. They've taken an unusual way of getting their message across, bringing music along the way, and yeah, it's a different thing. It's quite nice to hear about.
And why us? Hey, why not? It could be anybody. We're not superheroes. We're just two normal people. And we just picked up the torch and decided we're going to carry it for a little while.
This desire to make a difference cemented the core team.
Claude and Joanna quickly joined me, and the three of us put it together and did the walk last year. So here we are 1 year later, sitting along the highway.
Sitting along a highway is putting it mildly. Just to get to the point of doing the walk takes the time and effort of many volunteers over a 4-month period. But with this being the second year, support came a little easier.
Compared to last year, we had very limited funds and equipment last year doing this walk. This year, we were a little bit more confident, and we ended up in a much better position with respect to food and transportation.
With generous sponsors and a solid volunteer base, this walk succeeds not only as a fundraiser, but also in its potential as an educational exercise.
It puts a positive aspect on an otherwise negative topic. And it helps to break the stereotypes of the way people look at things and what they hear about on the news in the day-to-day life, the newspaper.
For a few weeks after the walk, we had that, but every time somebody comes up to me and says, wow, that walk you guys did, that was great, and you just get that warmth all over again.
Or you walk down the street and you see a t-shirt from last year, and it's like, excellent. It's great.
And despite the many details, hazards of the road, and the changeable weather, when all is said and done, Steve, Joanna, and Claude prove their efforts make a difference. The community appreciation shows that raising public awareness is a necessity.
It's like anything else. Once it starts rolling, it's going to go faster and faster and faster, and that's the reward in the end. All the people who you never expected to support you, who come out and support you.
And again, I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out. This is beautiful. I love it. Thank you very much.
But how can a small group go about organizing and paying for a large fundraiser? In Bathurst, the Maison du Passage, in partnership with the Club Richelieu and Radio CKLE, hold a radiothon auction with items donated by local business.
OK, en premier lieu, il faut quand même qu'un organisme nous aide. Disons que c'est impossible pour nous autres juste la maison de passage, les employés, le conseil d'administration, d'avoir un gros relevé de fonds comme le radioton chaque année, si on n'aurait pas d'aide. Ça fait que la première étape, vraiment, c'est de contacter quelqu'un ou que quelqu'un nous contacte, disons, comme les Richelieu.
Et par la suite, on a communiqué de nouveau avec ces gens-là. Et en effet, on trouvait qu'il y avait un mariage intéressant entre l'organisation ou le but et les besoins de la maison de passage et les ressources qui existaient au Club Richelieu. C'est vrai qu'on a...
Radio CKLE was contacted for creative suggestions.
C'est avec un des animateurs, en parlant des besoins de notre projet. On se demandait, y a-t-il quelque chose qu'on peut faire? Mais il a dit, tiens, on a un outil ici, la radio, on pourrait s'en servir. Le radioton serait probablement l'outil idéal. On a dit, tiens, on va tenter l'expérience. On a commencé à travailler tout de suite. Ça nous a pris à peu près...
They drew up a schedule.
Alors, c'est un projet de 6-7 mois où on se rencontre presque à chaque semaine. En tout cas, sur le dernier 3 mois, c'est à chaque semaine. Les premiers 3 mois, c'est à chaque 2 semaines.
Les commerces ont joué un rôle important dans le radioton depuis quelques années. Alors, au Richelieu, on avait un Richelieu responsable avec une équipe qui, au cours de la semaine, faisait des téléphones au commerce.
Puis on se rencontre à toutes les semaines. Puis on prend des étapes à suivre. Disons qu'il y a beaucoup d'étapes, il y a beaucoup de travail. Chaque personne est en charge de telle chose.
Alors, il y a une firme locale qui prépare des programmes sur ordinateur, qui nous a monté un programme spécial pour qu'on puisse rentrer les dons ou les promesses de dons à mesure sur ordinateur.
And you need volunteers.
On a une équipe d'étudiants qui travaillent avec nous aussi du collège communautaire qui s'occupent du service du téléphone la semaine précédant le radioton.
Alors, ça implique plusieurs personnes, au moins une centaine de personnes, peut-être même plus, là, qui sont impliquées dans le projet.
And even when you think it's over?
Une semaine après le radioton est fini, on se réunit le conseil exécutif, on discute ce qui a été bien, moins bien, et là on cherche une solution pour le prochain radioton. Parce qu'il y a quand même toujours des choses peut-être à améliorer ou des choses qu'on devrait changer.
And maybe the secret to success, no one does it alone.
C'est tout ça, là. Chaque projet, chaque étape, là, où chaque élément est identifié, on met une personne responsable, puis ça donne ce que ça donne. Ça a marché très très bien, on n'a vraiment pas eu d'accro dans les 3 années qu'on l'a organisé. Dieu merci.
Working through the system while trying to get something started can be frustrating if you don't know the steps to take.
Meet with the people that are giving the funding, but also to maybe talk to other people that are writing proposals and read other people's proposals.
Dépendant du projet, moi je dirais, si tu peux déterminer auprès des organisations là, que tu vises, là, est-ce que ça tombe vraiment dans leur mission? Est-ce que c'est la bonne organisation? Je pense que ça serait une démarche à faire, ça.
Be prepared to answer questions about your project.
Dans certains cas, il y a des membres du comité qui vont appeler l'organisation pour leur poser des questions. Le plus de documentation qu'on a, le mieux qu'on peut évaluer le projet. C'est quoi les buts des argents, c'est quoi le budget, les revenus que vous avez, c'est quoi les dépenses qu'on a, c'est à quoi que l'argent va être utilisé.
And once these questions are answered, it becomes like any other partnership.
C'est qu'on a des argents, on a de l'expertise, mais on est prêt à s'impliquer dans la mesure où l'organisation elle-même va s'impliquer également.
If the task of fundraising has become a daily reality for many organizations, there is a silver lining in the cloud: education and awareness.
The spin-offs, the education part of it, the awareness, it was great. We were doing radio interviews for a month after.
Well, because we have to be constantly educating the public for the same thing that I have to be continually educated, because things change so fast. And then if we have goals or values that we want to be accepted by the public, well, we have to keep at it.
Sister Cecile's determination reflects the growing trend to finding community solutions for social concerns. Nancy Hartling is the founder of Support to Single Mothers in Moncton. Since 1982, this house has provided the community with a focal point for discussion and action surrounding the issue. Nancy proves that being a novice is no reason not to try.
In the beginning of starting the organization, I was very naive, and I didn't really have a good knowledge base of the political trends or what was really going to be in the future, and that was probably good, because being innocent and naive, I was able to plow ahead and can be convincing and in myself. But sometimes when I go and meet with people in the community and they'd say, okay, when you get it going, call me, sort of thing. And that sometimes was a little tiring, because I would have liked to have names of people and the energy right then. And so I think that was one of the roadblocks, was not always having people at the beginning right there.
Getting beyond this stage leads to tangible rewards.
And I began using my voice and then meeting single mothers who told me their story. And then eventually they were able to come out and speak for themselves.
With a little help, some of the guesswork can be taken out of planning a campaign, and you can avoid mistakes others have already worked through.
Right. So maybe you think you have the support out there when you don't, so it's important to do a little bit of research on whether or not you have the support in the community.
If you can find a hook, it's great because the publicity and the awareness and the money maybe will come in a little bit heavier, but...
On ne demande pas seulement de l'argent, là, ça sensibilise les gens, puis plus le monde va en parler, plus que le monde va être au courant de la situation, plus qu'ils vont connaître la maison, et plus que c'est qu'ils vont être intéressés à nous aider.
Once you decide on your event and target your support, you've created your foundation.
C'est toujours mieux structuré. Chaque projet qui est bien structuré a toujours plus de chances de bien passer que le projet qui est seulement une idée comme ça en l'air. C'est bien certain qu'on regarde aussi la qualité et le travail, le temps qui a été mis à mettre le projet en place. C'est bien sûr que vous mettez plus de chances de votre côté.
We look at where we've been and where we're going, and then get together with our board and look at that and come up with a 5-year plan and a 1-year plan. And then we check it off, and it's really neat because you look back and say, yes, we did that. Or we altered that, and that's okay.
Puis on fait la liste de ces choses-là et on l'évalue vraiment, le projet, tout de suite. On le met par écrit, puis quand ça vient le temps de relancer, on regarde ces notes-là de nouveau, puis on tient compte de ces facteurs-là.
On vient à une solution, puis on résout le petit problème qu'il peut avoir, comme dans n'importe quel autre relevé de fonds, je pense. Tu peux quand même pas tout faire parfait les premières années, puis tu t'améliores avec le temps.
He kept saying to me, "Prove to me you love me." By the time I convinced him I did, I realized I didn't.
An effective way to deliver an awareness campaign is through performance art. Based in St. John, a group of 8 students perform a play on dating violence and will travel to schools throughout the province on request.
Every time, can you hit me? I feel fluffy. You're not lecturing, and you're not telling. It's not it's people performing. You just go up there and we start with this. We don't say, we just walk on into this play, and it really brings people to the subject.
Because of its simplicity of design, this play requires little in the way of setup and allows the audience to focus on the message.
I think that the biggest thing about this sort of a play is that you have to remember that it's not so much the bells and whistles and stuff as the message. So I guess that was the hard thing for me at first, was thinking, okay, well, what are some things we can do here that might have gotten in the way of the message. So I guess that's...
So on grad night we went to dinner. She looked like an angel.
Another advantage of this play is that it offers a variety of points of view.
So we don't just show you one side, the stereotypical side. We cover like a whole spectrum of different types of situations that people could come across, and I think that's really effective.
The discussion with the audience immediately following the play shows the value of live performance.
A transitional state, but I think it gives them a chance to feel a little threatened, but not feel completely threatened by it. So it's a good thing that way. And then when the conversations or the dialogue start and becomes real again, I think people are ready for it. So it's a good tool that way.
And the more we get people talking, the more everyone will learn. I mean, just the fact that some of the people in the audience were, well, a lot of them I'm sure were like us and didn't think it was a real problem.
In terms of the amount of time and work needed to produce a piece of this nature, both the cast and director agree that whatever effort is required is little compared to the rewards.
The first production was probably 4 months after we got the play. And once we started putting it on, then it was just kind of a maintenance thing, just kind of touch up, I guess, here and there. So not a difficult thing to do, really, that way.
I didn't care. You felt what it feels like after your first performance and your first talk with the audience. I mean, it's a motivator. I want to do this again. I have things to say now, and I have something to contribute.
We do a variety of things to let people know that we exist in the community. A lot of public speaking, media, radio, TV, brochures and posters and things like that around the community. But I think the most important way is word of mouth.
Well, it's always the people that make the most noise, of course, that get the best coverage. Send as many press releases out, meet as many people as you can, have, friends, neighbors, people in your organization call you know, as many people as possible and say, hey, look, you know, this is what's going on, this is where it's happening, we think you should be there because it's of interest to people. You know?
Je pense qu'il n'y a pas un organisme qui vaut pas le coup de s'asseoir et d'étudier et de rencontrer les gens et qui nous expliquent qu'est-ce qu'ils attendent de nous, de quelle façon on peut véhiculer leur message aussi et d'essayer de les aider au maximum parce que c'est aider un organisme, c'est définitivement aider quelqu'un à l'extérieur, un de nos auditeurs.
Awareness of family violence is growing. Change takes time, but individual talents and community partnerships are making a difference.
You know, things have changed and grown and developed and evolved, and you know, I'm expecting a lot more now. And I'd like to expect that one day we would need a service like this.
On sait qu'on a des auditeurs en art, puis on a des gens qui sont sensibles à ce qu'on peut véhiculer comme information ou comme demande ou encore simplement comme information. Oui.
Set your goals, and you'll reach those. And if you push a little bit further than that, you'll realize them. You'll exceed your goals.
I have much more self-esteem, and I'm not afraid to use it.
We're musicians, so this is all we can do, and that's all anyone can expect from you is to do what you can.
And when you know you've done your best.
But we don't expect to have the results tomorrow or the week after. It takes time for the people to understand the situation and for them to take means to change the situation if it has to be changed. Therefore, patience, 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 and keep at it.
Stop. Smell the roses. Stop. Take a good look around. Don't you hesitate. A world full of wonder abounds in each new day. Hey, hey, come on, stop. Smell the roses. Stop. Take a good look